6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Kanooz Ashraf. First, the headlines. Pakistan today handed over another set of questions to Indian High Commission regarding the Pulwama incident. Foreign Office spokesperson says Pakistan will respond decisively if its resolve were tested by India in any misadventure. Tajik Defence Minister and Army Chief at a meeting in Rawalpindi today discussed the regional security situation and enhancing bilateral cooperation in the defence field. Commander of Turkish Air Force says his country will always stand by Pakistan through thick and thin. Finance Minister in his interaction with IMF and World Bank officials in Washington today discussed the overall economic situation of the country. In occupied Kashmir, complete shutdown was observed today against the Farsi Indian parliamentary election and brutalities by the occupation forces. In Sudan, President Omar al-Bashir has been ousted and a military council has taken over the country. Now the news in detail. Foreign Office spokesperson Dr. Mohammad Faisal says Pakistan handed over a further set of questions regarding the Pulwama incident to Indian High Commission today. Addressing weekly media briefing in Islamabad this afternoon, he said we await the Indian response to questions shared with them. He said India has so far not provided any actionable intelligence that could lead to Pakistan's involvement in the Pulwama incident. He said the reply to previous questions has also not been given by India so far. The Foreign Office spokesperson said Pakistan has agreed to the technical meeting on Kartarpur in good spirit to be held on Tuesday at Zero Line in Kartarpur Sahib. He said we were also ready for 2nd of April meeting and there was no issue from our side. We will be ready in future too, as all issues can be resolved through talks only. Replying to a question, Dr. Mohammad Faisal said Pakistan has completely rejected the Indian intention of scrapping Article 370 of its constitution that guarantees autonomous status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. He said the issue of Kashmir could be resolved only according to UN Security Council resolutions and aspirations of the Kashmiris. Replying to another question, Dr. Mohammad Faisal said there was credible intelligence that India could launch a misadventure against Pakistan this month. He said Pakistan will respond decisively if its resolve is tested by India. He said the level of threat emanating from India is still high. On a question regarding the visit of CENTCOM chief to Pakistan, Dr. Mohammad Faisal said it was the first visit of the General Kenneth McKenzie to Pakistan after assuming his charge. He said the purpose of visit was to interact with his counterpart, Chief of Army Staff General Qamar Javed Bajwa, and discuss professional matters with him. He also paid a courtesy call on the Prime Minister Imran Khan. President Dr. Arif Alvi has underlined the need to further enhance bilateral cooperation between Pakistan and Tajikistan in different fields, including security and counter-terrorism. Talking to Defense Minister of Tajikistan, Colonel General Sher Ali Mirzo, in Islamabad today, he expressed his pleasure that defense and security authorities of the two countries are cooperating closely for regional security and are exploring the possibility of establishing joint ventures for defense production in Tajikistan. The president highlighted that our bilateral trade is not commensurate with the true potential and hoped that multiple joint working groups will help strengthen our economic partnership. Defense Minister of Tajikistan, General Sher Ali Mirzo, called on Chief of Army Staff General Qamar Javed Bajwa at GHQ in Rawalpindi today. During the meeting, regional security situation and matters of mutual interest, including enhancement of bilateral defense and security cooperation, were discussed. The Defense Minister expressed his appreciation for Pakistan Army's professionalism and efforts towards regional stability. The Chief of Army Staff said that Tajikistan is a brotherly country and cooperation between Tajikistan and Pakistan will help improve peace and stability in the region. Turkey has said it will always stand by Pakistan through thick and thin. The support was expressed by Commander of Turkish Air Force General Hassan while addressing the passing out parade of Pakistan Air Force at Asghar Khan Academy, Risalpur today. The Turkish Air Force commander said Pakistan and Turkey enjoy deep-rooted relations spanning over decades. He said these relations are knit together in the bonds of common faith and culture. He said Pakistan Air Force and Pakistan have always stood shoulder to shoulder with Turkey in the time of crises. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has underscored the importance of enhancing bilateral relations between Pakistan and Tajikistan. He was talking to Defense Minister of Tajikistan, Colonel General Sherali Mirza, who paid a courtesy call on him in Islamabad today. The Foreign Minister emphasized that Pakistan desires strong ties with its neighbors and a peaceful neighborhood would benefit all. Both sides expressed satisfaction on the steady growth of defense cooperation. On behalf of the Tajik Foreign Minister, the Tajik Defense Minister extended an official invitation to Foreign Minister Qureshi to visit Tajikistan at his convenience. This is Radio Pakistan. Pakistani delegation led by Finance Minister Asad Umar has participated in IMF and World Bank spring meetings in Washington and discussed the economic situation of the country. On the sidelines of the meetings, Finance Minister also met with the new World Bank President David Malpass and apprised him of the macroeconomic situation in the country and discussed continuation of Pakistan's ongoing engagement with the bank. Malpass appreciated the reforms process in the country and assured continued World Bank support. Asad Umar also met with the first Deputy Managing Director of IMF, David Lipton, and talked about the ongoing negotiations with the IMF. Foreign Secretary Tehmina Janjua met with Vice Foreign Minister Li Yuchang in Beijing today. During the meeting, matters pertaining to regional and bilateral interest came under discussion. In occupied Kashmir, complete shutdown was observed today against the holding of so-called Indian parliamentary elections in the territory and brutal measures against the Kashmiri people and their leadership. Call for the shutdown was given by the Joint Resistance Leadership comprising Sayyid Ali Kilani, Mirwais Umar Farooq and Muhammad Yasin Malik. It was also aimed at registering protest against the victimization and harassment of Hurriyat leaders and their kin by India's infamous National Investigation Agency, the closure of Kashmir's main highway for civilians for 2 days in a week, an attack by Indian police and troops on inmates at Srinagar Central Jail. All shops, business establishments, and educational institutions remained closed, while attendance in government and private offices was very thin. In Sudan, President Omar al-Bashir, who ruled country for 30 years, was ousted in a coup by army forces today after continued widespread and violent protest against him. In an address on state television, Defense Minister Awad Muhammad Ahmed Ibn Auf said 75 years old President Omar al-Bashir is under arrest and a military council is now running the country. He also announced a 2-year period of military rule to be followed by elections. Defense Minister announced a 3-month state of emergency, a nationwide ceasefire, and the suspension of the constitution. The founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, was arrested by British police from the Embassy of Ecuador in London today. Police said they arrested Assange after being invited into the embassy by the ambassador following the Ukrainian government's withdrawal of asylum. Julian Assange had taken refuge in Ecuador's London's embassy in 2012 to avoid being extradited to Sweden. In Pakistan Cup in Rawalpindi against Punjab, Sindh have set a victory target of 296, earlier batting first. Sindh scored 295 for 9 in 50 overs. And finally, the weather report. Dust, thunderstorm, rain with gusty winds is likely at scattered places in Rawalpindi, Sargodha, Faisalabad, Bahawalpur, Dera Ghazi Khan, Malakand, Hazara, Peshawar, Kohat, Mardan, Bannu, Dera Ismail Khan, Quetta, Zob, Sibbi, Gilgit, Baltistan, and Kashmir during the next 24 hours. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com Radio Pakistan News Official.